Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Business Growth Strategies Podcast. My name is Manny Martinez. I'm your host today, and I have with me Daniel Wilson.
Thank you.
We have Danny and Manny on today.
That's right.
Danny is our resident expert in all things SEO. He is the director of traffic here at 5K. So happy to get his insights on. And what we're going to be talking about today is in this crazy world of AI and how it relates to your position in SEO. The central frame here is that discovery is no longer just a rankings game, right?
Yeah.
It's a trust and retrieval game now. So like a company doesn't just need to rank well for keywords in Google anymore, right?
Mhm.
They have to be discoverable by these search engines and AI crawlers and relevant to the exact question or problem being researched. So we're going to talk through some different ways that people can be seen in AI, and how they can construct their copy and whatever else needs to be done. But
Yep.
I'm going to let you kind of take the reins on it. But first, let's just get a good general idea of what SEO is, and then we'll go into the AEO and GEO
Love
and
it.
all the EIEIOs we need to go
go.
into until we get
It's
it all.
it's an acronym playground. I'll tell you what, they're going to just keep adding them.
That's right. So SEO in general, what are the elements that go into that? What do we really key into here at 5K?
Yeah. The SEO. You could ask a lot of different marketers, and they're going to give you a generally the same answer. But I think you really hit on how do we think about it at 5K, because it's really been a proven process for us throughout the years, and that's the way that we frame it for clients. So what I want to hit on throughout this is not exactly what we do that's going to get too technical, and that's not really what you guys care about. But I'd love to give some insights on what are things that your team could do today if they want to, once you guys have a basic understanding of it, and then talk a little bit about the way that we think about it as a company, because this is what we do for a living. So, we really get in the weeds with it. But we think about SEO, search engine optimization, really to break it down as simply as possible. It is kind of like Manny was teeing up. It's about how you rank in search engines. Google primarily, because that's where the vast majority of traffic share is coming from amongst the different search engines. But Microsoft,
Sure, Bing.
right? Bing. That's one for our B2B clients.
Which is funny because in a lot of cases, we see Bing being a little less competitive because there's not as many people using that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not one primarily people are focusing on from an SEO, hey, we care about our SEO. You're gonna think about Google.
Sure.
And there are lots of cases where, by and large, what you're doing on Google has a relative effect, it bleeds over into Bing, for instance, right? But it's not always the same. Sometimes your rankings will be different, and it might, depending on your audience, if you could do some research on where's your audience searching. We do that for our clients.
Yeah.
You might find that Bing is actually quite important to you. So you want to focus on your rankings there. We think about that from an SEO and a paid perspective. But and just a real quick note on that, Bing is often big for our B2B audiences. A lot of companies, their managed desktop server defaults to Bing, use Microsoft Edge, whatever it is. So there's an importance there, even an importance there from a ads perspective. But really, SEO is caring about how you rank in the search engine, and it's those blue links. It is when somebody is searching for the type of thing you want to appear for, not when they're searching for your company by name, but they're searching for the service or the product that you offer. Do you rank within, ideally position number 1, right? But do you rank in, let's say, those top 3 to 5 positions of Google? That is what SEO is really all about, getting that visibility. And then if you kind of reverse engineer, well, what do we have to do to get there? That's where we're talking about content on page, things called link building, which we have an in-house team for, which is, getting content published on other sites that link back to your website, that link back to certain pages on your website. It's votes of confidence in the eyes of Google. Hey, this site said this site, which is your site, is authoritative on this product, on this service, and it's going to rank it higher, right?
Yeah. And I want to hit on something really quick. When we talk about ranking and you said getting up there is page 1 for us. And relative to that, it's the top 3 to 5 positions are where you're actually going to make your money. One thing we like to say is the best place to hide a dead body is page 2 on Google, because nobody's going there. Right? So if you're not in those top 10 positions, it doesn't mean you're out of the game. Those are what we consider low hanging fruit opportunities.
Yeah. We'll call them striking distance positions, 11 to 23 in Google. If you looked at where you rank there, this is what we do for clients. There might be some money-making keywords within those positions. So the goal then is to drive those up so you can, get into those top 3 to 5 positions. So really that's what SEO is all about, the strategies you're doing so that when people are searching for you online in the traditional search engine, you can rank highly, outrank your competitors. A quick note on that too, which we'll get into, but over the last 2 years, there's now the AI overview section in Google. In Bing, there's Microsoft's Copilot, right? So now it's also, well, how do we influence, so we're not just kind of position number 1. This is the case for a lot of our clients. They're position number 1, but they also rank in the AI overview section.
Sure.
So there's a little bit of bleed over between like SEO and maybe AEO in that case.
So AEO, let me frame this up really quick. SEO is search engine optimization through Google, Bing, whatever we do there.
Mhm.
And that has those three facets: the technical side, the on-site, and the off-site.
Yep.
Technical, making sure meta tags or meta descriptions, title
There
tags,
aren't any broken links in your
everything's
site.
running fast, easy to navigate, all that.
Yep.
On-site is the content that we're actually writing that has the keywords with intent value
Yes.
that we want to be ranking for. And then the off-site is the blue lettering that you were mentioning,
Link
correct?
building,
It's
you
the
know?
link building
Yep.
aspect of it, getting other websites to talk about yours. Now,
Mhm.
I want to talk about what that does in Google's eyes
Yeah.
really quick, because that's super important. The link building aspect is one thing. All three kind of carry over, but I feel like link building nowadays is going to be the most imperative, the one that's going to carry over the most when it comes to SEO, GEO, and
It is the
AEO.
one if you're a marketer you don't think of.
Yeah, for sure. And it's important because what I just said there, having other websites talk about your website is a credibility and authority check for Google.
Mhm.
It's not you talking about your own service, it's someone else talking about you. Danny, it would be, if I can use this as an example, it would be like me telling you that I'm the best chef in the entire world. You've never had a dish that I've cooked before, but
Mhm.
I'm telling you I'm the best chef in the entire world. You need to hire me for your next catering
Yep,
event.
yep.
You might believe me, but it's highly unlikely that you will because you've never had a dish that I've made before. But
Mhm.
if Chef Bobby Flay or Gordon Ramsay were to come to you
That's
and
right.
say, "Hey, Danny, man, he is the best chef in the
Yelled at me
entire
and
world,"
said, "Manny's the best."
that's all the credibility I need to
Exactly.
make a successful catering business. Google does the same thing. When it sees other people talking about you, that's the credibility check that it needs to start ranking your site and
Exactly. It's like
keywords.
who you know gets you in the door, right? And it's like these other sites saying, "Man, this one's the best on this topic." That's like getting you in the door of Google. That's Google. Google's going to be like, "Ah, they really are." They're not just saying it; they talk it, but the sites say that they like walk
It's
it as
almost
well.
like Google's own referral program.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
oh yeah.
Like, it's
So
wild.
it's real. That's the best way to think about it, I think, because often, in my career, there's been times where I've struggled to convey link building. I think because as
Sure.
marketers, we're prone to get too technical, and I think that's that. Not I think that's too soft. That is the best way to think about it. Is it's votes of confidence to the search engine, and what you would care about as business owner, in-house marketing director is, man, it's going to be a really big thing that drives you up there in Google, drives you up, gets you to rank highly in those money-making positions. And like another quick thing on that, this really like opened up a world to me when I started here. And this is something that Dave said, we have experience where, maybe for some, we've done a test, for instance, hey, the on-site content on this page about, let's say it's just about some sort of widget or something like that, right? It's okay. It's not super well optimized. It's just not written the best. Doesn't have the greatest intent behind it. It's kind of sloppy in terms of keyword coverage, but they're really strategic link building. And when I mean really strategic link building, it's like, for instance, we'll look in a platform called Ahrefs or SpyFu or SEMrush, and that just allows you to see what is your website ranking for and what do you want it to rank for. We could pull a list of those keywords and say, you know what, man, when somebody, let's just take us, for instance, when somebody searches website design company, man, we really want to rank for that. Okay, so when we're building links, you're getting an article published on a third-party site, and there you might be familiar probably with a hyperlink at this point. We really want that hyperlink in that article to be website design company
Sure.
and variations of
And that's
that sentiment, and link that back to the page on your site, which is website design company or whatever you want it to be. That in the eyes of Google is going to say, man, people really trust this company for their website design services. So we should rank them for that. So link building is really powerful, even if you're on-page copy. Now, when we have 5K SEO clients, we're addressing the on-page copy. But I think it just goes to show how important link building is. And it's, again, if you're not a marketer, it's not one you think of because it's a full-time job to really be picking up the phone, calling them, building those relationships, doing that outreach and getting links placed. And if that's not your full-time job, you really don't have time to do it. And there are agencies that will charge you an arm and a leg for link building services, and you don't really have much. They're not always even the greatest links.
It's tough.
It's Dave
Link
says it's one of the
building
most difficult
done
things.
well is really, really tough. Now,
Yep.
we are very blessed with Karen and
Mhm.
her team who does it, but it's like a full-time sales gig, man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they're emailing, they're pounding the phones, finding the right partners, because there's a lot of things you can't just go get whatever link you want from whatever website,
Yep.
right? Can you hit on that for
Yep.
me, and how and our process in which we go through filtering if it's going to be a good link that we should pursue or not?
Yeah. We have an in-house scoring method, criteria. And if a link scores below, and in this case, it's really a 3 to 5 scoring system, but if it scores below a 3, we'll never place that link. And how those numbers are made up, like how we come to those, is we're looking at not just the niche relevancy of a site. That's important though, right? If you're a vehicle manufacturer, it's great to have people in the vehicle manufacturing space, emergency lights space, car talk type spaces that are linking back to you because it's really within your industry. So it's proving to Google, hey, these guys are they're thought leaders within their industry. So that's important. That's absolutely something we go after. Sometimes, in my experience, marketers or businesses can kind of limit themselves to that. So that's really good. But there are cases where you'll also want to explore what are things kind of tangentially related to my industry to really create what we would call an organic backlink profile. But you really want to be catching a lot of authoritative sites that are super hyper relevant to you, but there's a little bit of a sliding scale in terms of relevancy too. So just kind of throwing that out there, not to box yourself in too much. But when we look at a scoring system, we don't just look at what's called a website's DR, DA, which is domain rating or domain authority. That's good. That's how authoritative Google views your site for a number of reasons. That's something we'll take into consideration, but we also go levels deeper to look at what type of keywords does that website rank for? How much traffic are they getting to the site from those keywords? How much organic traffic does that website have? In the last 6 months, did it start to tank? Did the website traffic start to tank? Well, that's indicative maybe that they were doing some black hat SEO tactics and Google doesn't like that. Well, we don't want to place links on a site that we know Google is devaluing or not looking at as authoritative. So again, that's all things we look at as marketers to get sites placed. But really what it means for the businesses we work with is you can really trust us and we share our links we get placed with our clients. You can trust us that the links you're getting built, the links being built to your site are authoritative, they're niche relevant, and they're actually sites that are going to help you rank because Google's viewing those sites as authoritative. And by extension, because they're linking to you, viewing you as more authoritative. Exactly like you said in the kind of chef example that you gave there.
I'm curious. One thing that I often get questioned on is with link building. Some people recognize that the purpose of link building is to have someone purchase from you from another website. Like they're going to see my anchor text, they're going to click on it, they're going to come over and they're going to purchase. That's the point of a link. Can you just clear that up for me?
That's not the point.
That's not, right?
So I love that you mentioned that because this is something that we've been asked sometimes.
It happens.
It can happen.
Time to time. Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
The content being published on those sites, which we create in-house, that's another thing we handle as part of our link building, is good. It's high quality. But the goal of you don't want to make something do everything because it's going to do it poorly, right? So when you think about link building, the goal is to get content placed on a site that links back to your website that is just going to make you rank better in Google because Google's viewing you as an authoritative source because people are talking about you. They're linking to you. If you get traffic coming from content on a third-party site to your site and purchasing or filling out forms and picking up the phone and calling you, great, that can happen, but that's not the primary goal of what we're doing with link building because that's not the primary goal of link building. The goal of link building is building that authority. The conversion element happens with how is your site actually ranking.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, how does that track over? First, let's define, now that we know what SEO is, AEO, which you mentioned earlier, is kind of the format in which
Answer engine optimization, Google's AI overview, Microsoft's Copilot. So when we talk about AEO, and admittedly, there are some differences within the industry because these acronyms are newish. It's probably going to kind of become more defined in the next few years. But some people will use kind of things interchangeably, as is known to happen. But when we had lengthy conversations about this in office, and we did research on it. We brought our expertise to it. I feel confident on this. When we say AEO, answer engine optimization, we're talking about how are you writing content, publishing it to get it to rank in Google's AI overview section. So when someone's asking a question, and this is true, go and ask a question in Google right now. It's going to pull up an AI overview section. Yeah. We want to write content in such a way that answers that question directly so you can rank in Google's AI overview, right? So that's AEO. Identifying what we call your impact prospect, your target audience, identifying what they're searching and answering that so that you are the proven source for that specific topic that your impact prospect is interested in. And it's increasing that brand lift. It's building that brand authority, which is important. When an AI overview section is present, it's something like 50% maybe up to 60. I read different, research docs on this, but the AI overview section will siphon off clicks from the links below it.
Sure. People are getting their answers.
People are clicking through less. They're getting the answer they need, but that doesn't mean they'll never click through, right? You still, if the option is be present or not, you want to be present. And then when they're ready to visit your website, they're ready to convert, you are there front and center. So AEO is really, how are you writing content primarily? How are you structuring content? How are you thinking about the topics you're covering and writing it in such a way that it gets that owns the AI overview space.
Okay, perfect. So that's AEO, answers engine optimization. Pretty self-explanatory there outside of what you already said. Is it's the answer to the question
Yep.
that you're asking in
hmm
Google, Bing, and so on and so forth. Now, how does that differ from GEO,
Yeah.
generative engine
Yeah.
optimization?
So GEO, now we're talking more about the LLMs, the AI models. So the large language models of ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, those being the big three. There's other ones, of course, like Claude, for instance. But really where we see a lot of the searches happen is with, of course, primarily ChatGPT. That's the biggest. But Gemini, for people who are big time Google users, that's what they love. It's on their Android, things like that. And then Perplexity, often we actually have two clients, not only, but somewhat recent stories of people who made some pretty big deals, got some pretty great leads from people searching for them on Perplexity. So when we talk about GEO, now we're talking about how do we influence when people are searching within those AI models? How do you rank, right?
Yeah, and can I hit on how important this is really
hmm
quick? And these are stats I believe we pulled last year. I don't know if they still track. I'd love for you to confirm that, but it was something like 40% of traffic is migrating from Google straight into these LLM
It's
platforms to ask questions
it's
versus going
becoming
to
the top performer
yeah.
for sure. For reasons that you might feel, you can have a conversation about it. You can have a conversation with the LLM. So there's a kind of inherent trustworthiness that people feel within that they can go back and forth. And so that's just a big one that people are searching there. I use it for a lot, right? A lot of my searches and conversations I'm having have gone from search engines to the LLMs. So it's increasing in terms of how many people use it. And when you think about how to rank in GEO, there's going to be crossover from all of these things. And in some ways, it's fair to say that all of these fall under the umbrella of SEO. There's some great memes I've seen go around, and it's of like the Scooby-Doo gang or whatever. If you remember the classic Scooby-Doo cartoon, it'd be some sort of monster. They'd pull off the mask, and it's some just human, some guy from the cartoon or whatever. And it was like GEO, AEO, and they pulled off the mask, and it was SEO. So I think it's somewhat fair to say maybe it's all under that umbrella, but because there's some crossover, right? The content that you write and the keywords you're using, the optimization, the research you're doing, the intent you're writing behind it, very important for ranking in GEO. Link building, very important for ranking in GEO. But there's some things that are really always important, but we've seen have much more of an effect on how you rank in AI models. For instance, I recently joined a webinar, and one of the first things they led with on how to rank in GEO is something that we've absolutely been doing for all of our clients, which is structured FAQs on a website.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because what that is capturing is when people are kind of venting their frustrations or pain points or looking for solutions or trying to build a short list for a company, when they're searching in ChatGPT, Gemini, or Perplexity, having content on your site, again, that directly answers their question, all on one page, structured very cleanly, so that when the LLM is scraping your website, it's crawling your website, it doesn't have to go to your homepage for part of that
Sure,
answer. It
sure.
doesn't have to go to the parent page of one of your services pages, then the about page. And right, you're putting all of the most important info on one page dedicated to that service or product you offer. And then on the technical side, there's things called schema markup and stuff like that, which we kind of talk about tech SEO. There's things that go into that make it easy for those LLMs to crawl your site and kind of see the info that they need to and answer it. But I think one of the most important things that we've absolutely seen work for our clients in ranking in GEO is really our power page methodology,
Yeah, sure.
which is exactly like I said, it's a comprehensive page that is designed to completely address the pain points that the impact prospect has for any given product or service. It has information on what they're looking for. It has popular FAQs, and it's all on one page so that when somebody's building their short list looking for a company that does, vehicle lighting or industrial conveyors or whatever, the LLM you don't have to make it work extra.
Yeah,
It has
sure.
everything it needs cleanly on one page and can surface you in the answers in ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity. So it's the concept is not rocket science.
Sure.
There's a lot that goes into doing it, but that's part of what we want to do as well is demystify the process for our clients, let us handle the technical aspects of it, and really just get you to rank.
That was great. I wanna know, and I'm sure the people do too, what's a good way to start tracking? Because most people don't even know where the heck
Yeah.
unless
Oh
they
yeah.
go into the search engine and they type it, I'm sorry, the LLM, and
hmm
they type it in themselves and see what pops up. They don't know if they're ranking for stuff
Yep.
in GEO or AEO. So how do they know in the first place? What can they do?
Yeah, or what even queries to try to track,
Sure.
right? So this is I kind of mentioned at the beginning. I won't break down all of our processes because we've built out systems that are really reliable that we bring our expertise to and work through it. But we started somewhere when the LLMs rolled out, right? So I'd really like to kind of take you through what you could do right now. That is in some ways part of our process. It's just more, if I can say it, more of an elementary version of our process or something, right? So let's say like, okay, cool. You have a general understanding of who your impact prospect is, who your target audience is. And then you're like, well, what are they searching for in the LLMs? Like, I don't have data on that in GA4 or Search Console or Ahrefs. If you're even using that stuff, I don't have data to try to figure that stuff out because it's all by definition generative to that unique person, right? So what you can do is I would recommend run a Gemini deep research report, run a Perplexity deep research report, and don't worry about getting it perfect. Stream of consciousness go in and say, this is what we do. This is our company. Here's our company website. This is our target audience as best we know them. Here's some of the things I know that they struggle with. Here's the solutions we offer to their pain points. Write up a paragraph, have a conversation with it. Ask both Gemini and Perplexity to do deep research on that, and take that and then ask like, okay, hey, like based on the questions they have, what they're looking for, the pain points they have, what's the through line? What type of things are they likely to ask the LLMs? What type of thing is my impact prospect, my target audience going to the LLMs for when they're trying to build a short list, the type of list I as a company want to appear on? It's not going to be 100% perfect. Don't worry about that right now. It's going to get you in the ballpark for sure. Take those queries and then search them in ChatGPT, search them in Gemini, search them in Perplexity. Do you rank for those? And just get a baseline of whether you do or don't. Don't feel bad right now if you don't. This is how you're going to make the plan to do it, right? So really how to start tracking it, if you don't have a system built out, is going to be manual.
Yeah, sure.
We did that when when the LLMs first rolled out. We meet with our clients on a tri-weekly basis. I would do that. I'd have a running list of the queries we'll call them scenario-based prompts, which we'll get into in just a moment. I have a running list of that, and I would search them very regularly in the LLMs, take screenshots of it, and put it in the notes.
And what do we do with everything that's manual here?
Automate it. Which we absolutely did.
As much as we can, yeah.
So, but that's a good baseline. If you're just like, I just need to get started. Hey, my marketing director, can you do this? Because right now we have no visibility. That's a way to get started. What we do for our clients is 5K analytics. And we have that built out where it runs a scan manually if I click new scan, or it runs it on like a every couple day basis. And we've identified what we call scenario-based prompts, which I'll just get into right now, which is doing deep research. We really understand our clients, really digging into their impact prospect, just going through the...
I want to add this. One area where people miss when it comes to that is think of these conversations as also referral based as well. So if you are one step of a process, if your offering is one step of a process that is 10 steps or whatever it is, you will likely, in the duration of the conversation you're having with the LLM, your company will likely come up in one of those places. Because you're actually, you're looking to build a new building. Well, we're working with a company right now who has the architects, the engineers, and the contractors. So it's from beginning to end. But say they just did the build aspect, say they just did the contractors, and someone's like, okay, well, I know that I need an engineer. So to start this, or I need an architect to kind of get this project going. What else am I going to need down the road to make sure that this project gets completed? So a lot of times that's why it's so good to do the scenario based prompts, because now you're casting a wide net for any conversations that they might be having revolving around or before or after whatever your specific service is. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's a great point. So I'm actually going to, I actually kind of like to read a scenario based prompt off to you guys, just so you can get, when we say that, like, what the heck do we mean even by that? So I'm going to read one of these off, and then we'll just really quickly break down how we came to that and what it means. Because I might read it and you'll be like, that's not what people are directly searching. We'll answer that. So here's one. I'm the production manager for an automated syringe assembly plant. Already, you're probably not doing anything like that to track your results. We'll get into that, right? We are failing to meet our delivery quotas because our indexing conveyor cannot keep up with the speed of our automated assembly stations. We need to index small, lightweight pallets at a rate of over 100 indexes per minute, but our current system suffers from severe backlash and vibration at those speeds, causing the delicate assembly heads to crash into the pallets, so on and so forth. There's like 3 more sentences to that. So you might be saying, well, that's not what people are searching directly, like in the LLM. But if you reverse engineer the whole conversation that your impact prospect is having, exactly kind of like what you're saying, if you reverse engineer that whole thing when they're going through, their first prompt, hey, you know what, I'm the production manager for this type of company. Here's the problem I'm having. That might be their first one. Okay, cool. Kind of come back. And then he says, oh, how can I help you? Go this whole thing. Okay, cool. Like, listen, we've been really struggling to meet our quotas. Our conveyor, it's slow. It doesn't keep up with the speed of the automation that we need. That's one prompt. Then again, and you're having a conversation just like people have in the LLMs. Well, if you went through that, and then, for instance, even if you went into Perplexity or ChatGPT and said, okay, based on this entire conversation we had, if you reverse engineered this and kind of put this into one prompt for me to get an idea of what type of conversations are people having, it would output a prompt like this. And what this is doing is capturing the essence of the entire conversation that your impact prospect is having. And it's very reliable. So when you capture the essence, the scenario-based prompt, what type of scenarios are they typically searching for in the LLMs? What type of things do they typically struggle with? You can get a really good baseline for, okay, my target audience has this sort of conversation with the LLM. Do I appear at all in the process? And how do I appear next to my competitors? Does it reference me positively? Does it actually say, you know what, this conveyor company, they're not actually the best for that, right? So you want to get that establishes the baseline of, do you even have any visibility? And if you don't, what 5K Analytics does is it allows us to run an AI gap analysis and say, okay, here's the type of content we need to write to rank when people are having these sort of conversations. But that's something that you could do as well. Again, it would be manual, but you could go through and say, okay, we're not visible when people are having these sort of conversations. What type of content do we need to produce? And it might be this content cluster that addresses every stage of the funnel of that journey of that conversation. So you can have the best chance of ranking when people are searching for those sort of things and having those sort of conversations.
I love that scenario-based prompt, how it's so heavy on the industry-specific jargon, because even if it's a less technical person coming to that search engine or the LLM and they're asking a question that's a little more elementary, AI is going to know
Exactly.
the industry-specific jargon and what you're trying to get to,
Yep.
and that's what it's going to be searching for
Yep.
because it's trying to do all the whole hard work for you. So we do have 5K Analytics, which is our own platform, which I think you were hinting at there, where we do these scenario based prompts and we run them through on a weekly, monthly basis, whatever the case may be, and we can actually see the visibility and where you rank within the LLM. So if I am offering right now the first 10 people that see this and get a hold of us and say you want to be added to 5K Analytics so you can see exactly where you're ranking today in Perplexity and ChatGPT and Claude, you name it, we can get you on there. First 10 people, get at us at hello@5k.co or go on to the businessgrowthstrategies.com website and you can get a hold of us there and we'll throw you on the list and be in contact with you. Beautiful. Anything else to add there, Danny? That was a ton of great information. Anything that you wanted to add here on the end, a big takeaway for everyone that's listening?
Yeah, I would say, well, real quick, even with that, I mean, these are all like that one scenario based prompt I read from 5K Analytics. We share these with all of our 5K SEO clients. And I mean, the number of times people go like, yeah, that's exactly what we want to rank for. And in this case, our client's ranking number one, but their competitors very relevant to like this type of search. Like you can see those. So what 5K Analytics does is it scrapes, you'll see it in platform, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity. Also has a trend analysis, which I think is huge because if you're doing it manually, you can't track that. This will show you over time, have we lost visibility at all? Have we increased, right? What type of content have we produced so we can mark in 5K Analytics so we can see, okay, we published this on July 17th and a week later we saw visibility for that term. So again, I think the most important thing is, Ahrefs, SEMrush, HubSpot as well. They're all rolling out their GEO trackers.
Sure.
They're not cheap, it costs money to scrape the LLMs. And a lot of them, again, you're still some cases kind of flying blind. You have to figure out the queries yourself. And a lot of them are still kind of ranking generally. You're still kind of tracking just basic queries, which people are searching in the LLMs as well. We'll track those.
Yeah, sure.
Top digital marketing agencies and, insert. People are searching those sort of things in LLMs like they would Google. But you really want to go a level deeper and you really just want to establish a baseline of do we have that visibility or not? And if you don't, again, just a quick takeaway, link building might feel we don't do that, can't address that. I need to come to an agency for that. But right now, I just want to focus on this. What you should do is work with the LLM, so to speak, have it help you develop a content strategy to say, we're not visibility for these stages in the funnel when our impact prospect is having this type of conversation. What type of blog content do we need to produce? How can we update the website content on our website to really answer the questions people are asking? Because the interesting thing about AI as it kind of overtakes so much of the industry is there is also a move to more than ever you're writing for the human. Yeah, you want to address the questions they have, and it's not keyword stuffing. It's very intent based. So the biggest takeaway is I did truly understand your target audience, truly understand them. what type of problems they have. And when you do that, you can start to create the type of content, put the type of educational content out there necessary to help them, to nurture them, to get them to convert.
That's so good. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate all the expertise you brought to the podcast today. We'll be seeing you again
That's right.
soon, I'm sure. Thanks everyone for joining. Remember, get at us, hello at 5k.co, or go visit us at businessgrowthstrategies.com and let us know if you want added to that list. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.